Good morning and welcome to Toronto Police Headquarters. Today, Detective Sergeant Stacy Gallant of Homicide Cold Case will be speaking on the Toronto Police pilot project, the Bolo Program. Detective Sergeant.
Thank you and good morning. Bolo, be on the lookout. This term is commonly used in movies and TV shows and is a term commonly used in the police community. When a person has committed a crime and they are not arrested at the time or immediately thereafter, we often obtain a warrant in the first instance from the courts. Some people have warrants out for them and they try to hide or evade arrest. They leave the city or even the country. They change their name, assume a new identity. Others hide in plain sight within our community, just hoping they're not going to be caught. But someone out there knows where they are and knows where they're hiding. We make every effort to locate these people and bring them before the courts to stand trial. We do rely on tips from the public to help us locate and capture those that are attempting to evade justice. Members of the public are the eyes and ears of their communities and often have valuable information that can help capture people that are wanted on these outstanding warrants. It's not fair that these people can continue to live in our communities and not be held to account for their actions. The Toronto Police Service is enhancing its effort to capture those wanted for serious crimes like murders by embracing the partnership with the Bolo Program to create a safer community for all. I, along with the Fugitive Squad, would like to now introduce Maxime Langlois of the Bolo Program. He is here to launch the program to the public and introduce you to the foundation. Max?
Thank you, Stacy. Good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm here essentially to explain to Torontonians why they will see people walking around wearing these T-shirts over the next few days. I am thrilled to be here in Toronto today with members of the Homicide and Fugitive Squads, as well as members of my team who are out there in Toronto to launch the pilot of the Bolo program. The acronym BOLO, like Stacy said, stands for Be on the Lookout, which is precisely the objective of the Bolo program. We encourage citizens to be on the lookout for Canada's most wanted. Tens of thousands of arrest warrants are currently outstanding in Canada. Hundreds, if not thousands of them, are for individuals suspected, accused, or convicted of major crimes. Like Stacy said, most wanted fugitives are threats to communities, and they must face justice. Beyond their investigations, police services already take a lot of actions to get the public's assistance to locate most wanted individuals. They speak with media representatives. They also make information available on their websites, social media feeds. But Canadian police services can really use more help from police services and awareness from the population on such important investigations. After all, keeping your communities safe is everyone's business. The Bolo program's mission is to empower citizens to actively participate in public safety towards safer communities. As mentioned earlier, we encourage citizens to be on the lookout for Canada's most wanted so that it can report sightings and submit tips to help the police arrest them. We do that by acting as an amplifier to the request of Canadian Police Services for the public's assistance on priority most wanted cases. We encourage Canadians to be on the lookout by using innovative tools to reach them at the right time, at the right place. All that in order to make sure Canadians know about these priority cases and to give them a better chance to play their role in public safety. Some important facts about the program. We are 100% complementary to what police services do. We do not interfere with police activities or investigations. We only launch amplification campaigns once we have the full authorization and cooperation from the police service. What we do then is to take the information that's already publicly available on a case, we repackage it, and then we boost it to unprecedented levels. We do not, and this is very important, we do not collect tips from the public. Like I said, we take the information that's already available in the case and we boost it That also involves talking about the proper reporting channels already identified by police services. So we're extremely grateful, of course, to be able to conduct our pilot here in Toronto in cooperation with the Toronto Police Service. I thank the leaders of the Toronto Police Service, as well as the members and leaders of the Toronto Police Service Homicide and Fugitive Squads for their support. They've all been extremely helpful in setting up this pilot project. I think the fact that the Toronto Police Service supports the Bolo program speaks for its dedication and willingness to use innovative tools to keep Torontonians and Canadians safe. The objective of this pilot is to test some of our innovative tools. At the moment, we have 2 cases provided by the Toronto Police Service Fugitive and Homicide Squads. The first case, the case of Mr. Alexander Fountain, wanted for murder, is being promoted 100% digitally. So we're talking Facebook and Twitter promotion. The case of Mr. Tommy Nago, who is also wanted for murder, is being promoted doing some field work. So again, people are going to be wearing these T-shirts, walking around Toronto within the next few days, distributing flyers like those to people and businesses. I encourage everyone in the room and everyone in Toronto and in Canada to help us keep Canada safe and to be on the lookout for Canada's Most Wanted. You can start by visiting our website at boloprogram.org and also by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you.
Any questions?
So, like these 2 cases, for example, being chosen for this program, would that mean that you believe that these 2 guys are in the Toronto area, or like, for example, there's people out there walking around with Nago's picture on their T-shirt. Are they in a neighborhood that they believe he could reasonably be? Like, are you guys acting on information you have in terms of exact locations, that geographical locations you think they might be?
Yes, the people we've...
Go over to the mic.
Sorry. The people we've selected for the Bolo program currently are those that we believe are still within the GTA or still have strong ties to the GTA. So we're reaching out to the communities that may know where they are, where they're hiding, who they're hiding with, to point us in that direction. So hopefully by picking cases that have a strong connection still to Toronto, we're going to reach the biggest portion of the community that we can through both the digital social media and through the actually being out there handing out flyers and that sort of thing to the community.
So is this a case of perhaps members of the public don't realize these guys are still out there and will be calling you, or are you trying to reach other people? Because, I mean, historically in homicide cases, you guys have a big problem with witnesses being too afraid to come forward and getting involved. So are you hoping this will reach the people who are like, well, I just didn't even know that guy did it, and I'm not afraid to be involved with the police, or is it a combination of the 2?
I think it's a combination of both. We're targeting people that may know these individuals personally and may not have in the past wanted to call in or tell us where they are. Hopefully this can put some pressure on the people that know him and know where they are to call in or send in the tip through Crime Stoppers or all the different means that are available that we have. The online means, calling directly to the police, using Crime Stoppers. Any of those ways are certainly acceptable for us to get the information. And again, we're not searching for evidence. These are cases that are already before the courts. We're trying to find these people to bring them into custody so that they can have their trial and their day in court. So anonymous information on where these people are is extremely helpful. We're not looking for witnesses anymore. We're looking for people to tell us where the individuals are hiding.
Is that going to be the case with all of the Bolo cases, or just with these 2 that you're starting with, where you're not looking for witnesses? This is purely just tell us where they are, that's all we want to know?
That's with all the Bolo cases because they are arrest warrants and we already have a case before the courts, so they're simply arrest warrants and we're looking to find out where they are. So there's no need for a person to be a witness, for example, to bring us any evidence. All we need to know is where they are.
So you just need a Crime Stoppers tip? Really?
Crime Stoppers tip, a phone tip, an email, anything that can lead us in the direction of where these people are hiding.
When do you think you'll start adding more profiles to the site?
That's up to Max. You want to speak on that?
Yes, so right now the idea of the pilot is to test some of our tools. As I mentioned, one of them is one of the cases is being promoted entirely online. The other one is promoted doing field work. So we're doing some sort of A/B test at the moment. We want to see how the public reacts to this first, and then this pilot is also about cooperating with the homicide and fugitive squads to understand, how we work together. So within the next few months, we will be adding cases. There will probably be more cases from Toronto within the next few weeks, but the idea is to launch in a few months' time with a list of 15 to 20 most wanted individuals in Canada. A list that will be developed in cooperation with different police services.
Just be murder cases? What other crimes could be up there?
Major crime. So, we have murder cases in this specific instance, but so major crimes against children, sexual assaults, homicides, terrorist activities.
And why keep it to just cases that are already before the courts? Is that just to simplify it? Just to clarify, so that means that there's already at least one accused in custody?
Yes, so one of the conditions for the Bolo program to launch a campaign is that there be an outstanding arrest warrant against an individual. So once that condition is met, we go to police services and we seek their authorization to launch a campaign. And we need their cooperation because the only condition I will say that the Bolo program is imposing police services that we be kept informed about the status of the arrest warrant. So if their warrant is dropped, we need to stop the campaign, and if the person gets arrested, we also need to stop the campaign.
But is there always a co-accused in custody, or do you just mean by that there's already a warrant that, when you say you don't need any witnesses, you just need to know where they are? You've already got the case.
Yeah, typically when we issue an arrest warrant or an arrest warrant is issued for someone, we've already have enough evidence to bring that person before the courts. There's already a case made, so it's not a case where there's multiple people involved. It could be, Mr. Fountain is wanted. He's the only one wanted on that case. Mr. Nago, there was two people involved. One is already in custody and was captured. He remains outstanding. So the point is, in Toronto, we currently have, between 2015 and 2018, we have 8 active warrants for murders in Toronto. Overall, dating back to 1983, I can tell you that we have 27 arrest warrants for people wanted for various murders, going back to 83, with the oldest one being Dennis Melvin Howe. So we're actively seeking out to bring all these cases to that closure of having the person arrested, put them before the courts, and have them have their day in court.
Can you just tell us some background information on these 2 cases that are being highlighted right now?
Mr. No was involved in a stabbing that took place in a park, Noble Park, I believe it was, and him and another individual were involved in an altercation with the victim. The victim was stabbed and died in the park. The second incident, Mr. Fountain is wanted for a shooting, a murder that took place in a community housing neighborhood, Chester Lee, in Scarborough. And again, he is the person that's been identified for that crime, and an arrest warrant has been outstanding since shortly after that investigation unfolded.
I'm hoping that you can speak about the kind of difference that this would make in your specific line of work, the difference with this, with the types of tips that you can get from this versus how you normally operate.
Well, we do have a presence on social media now in terms of Toronto Police. We have our website that has all our most wanted on there for murders. But our problem is reaching the greater mass. We don't have the capacity to reach the amount of people that the Bolo program can. He's already expressed to us that the numbers that they are reaching in social media are quite high. So the more we can do to get the information out to the general public, to get retweets, to get likes or this people seeing the images on on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and putting it out there and getting that generation of people involved. It may not be only in Toronto. We may find that these people are somewhere else in the country or out of the country, and the best way to find out is through social media right now, to reach all over the world, really, with social media. So our hope is that the more attention we can garner on these individuals, somebody out there is going to know where he is or where they are, and simply a phone call or an email to Crime Stoppers can lead to that person's capture. So the more people we can reach, the better.
Why is Bolo able to reach so many more than your tweets? Is there a certain system you guys use? Are you experts in social media? What is it?
The process we followed to came up with the tools we're going to be using is called design thinking. So we realized that this issue had been looked at from the law enforcement perspective for a very long time, and it's actually great because a lot of tools were developed by police services over time, like Crime Stoppers, to receive tips in an anonymous way. But we really focused on the users to develop the right tools to reach them. So who's interested by this? The population. So we followed a methodology called design thinking to make sure we were going to reach people at the right time, at the right place, using the right tools. Social media is one of our tools. We have about 50 of them, and you're going to discover them within the next few months. Social media, and like any marketing person will tell you, that is very compelling in reaching people. It gives you good yield for relatively low budgets. So I'll give you an idea for the Fountain case so far. On social media-wise, we've reached about 250,000 people, mostly in Toronto. And if you sell products or services on social media, it's very hard to get the people's attention. People don't necessarily care about your shampoo or your running shoes, but in this case, people care. And when we share something on social media, we share this. So just the fact that people see it is already what we want. And I can speak in more details about the social media yield we've gotten so far, if you want after.
So when did this actually start? Like, when did you start?
We launched the website April 18th, and we launched the promotion on the Fountain case the following day. So it's been about...
Have police gotten any tips from that yet? Or, and I guess it's follow up to that, would there be a time limit for how long one case is promoted?
In terms of whether we've received tips, we have been receiving tips in as a direct result of the campaign. We follow those up. Again, whether or not they lead to the arrest yet, they haven't, obviously, or I'd be stating that right now. But they are tips, so we know it's generating an interest within the public for people to look at it and respond to it. And, like I said, all we're looking for is that one tip that's going to lead to the arrest of one of the individuals that's wanted.
And if I may answer your question, there are no time limits. So we will keep promoting this case as long as there will be an outstanding arrest warrant against an individual.
Sergeant Banks, perhaps you can speak to the fugitive squad's role in all of this.
Yes, we were originally approached by Maxime back in the fall when they wanted to approach the Toronto Police Service. Because of our reputation worldwide with apprehending fugitives, although our main goal is international fugitives, we do work within national and then within the Toronto Police Service. So the Bolo Program through the Steve Cretier Foundation reached out to the Organized Crime Unit and the Fugitive Squad for our assistance, and whether or not this would be something that we would be interested on to work with them on. And then that was then taken to our command and approved, and we've sort of been working with the Bolo Program and then with the Homicide Squad to identify the cases that we thought would be good test pilots, and then to work with them, and then to make our teams available on any tips that come out, that we'd be able to assist with the information gathered and the tips to get these people apprehended as soon as possible. Again, to get them off our streets and to prevent further criminality within Toronto or anywhere within the GTA or the country.
So as somebody who leads up a team of people whose job it is just to catch one after the other, like, what was your reaction when you heard about the idea of this sort of exposure for these wanted people?
We welcomed it. We had Maxime and 2 other of his team came down from Montreal, like I said, in the fall. They explained the program to us, and it was something that we bought into right away as a unit. There is, to us, it's a win-win situation for the Toronto Police Service, for the citizens of Toronto, and for the citizens of Canada. Any information that we can get and any cooperation from private companies, from foundations, from the public to identify where wanted people are is to the benefit of everybody. So we were ecstatic with the information that we got. We worked with Maxime and the Bolo program to identify, as I mentioned, the cases that we could try as a test pilot, and to further advance this program and to move it nationally, and then you know, the possibility of internationally.
Maxime and his team will be out in Toronto today at various locations, wearing the T-shirts, handing out the flyers that he has shown earlier. If anyone's interested in meeting up with him on the street and his team, we can let you know their locations throughout the day, and you can go and participate with that. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes today's news conference.